Hey everybody, welcome back to Brainiac Baseball's 1981 Detroit Tigers season replay. Today's matchup is between the New York Yankees and the Detroit Tigers at Tiger Stadium. On the mound for the Yankees is Stefan Wever, whose record is 0-1 with a 3.18 ERA. And pitching for Detroit today is Dan Petry, who's 0-1 with a 7.50 ERA. And so we finished off the three-game series with the Royals with a big victory. We took them out behind the woodshed, put up 11 runs. We didn't even hit a home run that game. Gibby had 4 hits. Tom Brookins, making a spot start, had 3 hits. So it was a pretty good game, except for our starting pitcher, who gave up a ton of runs. We tried to keep him out there as long as we could. That was Dave Rozema. And we have a tough task today, a short 2-game series at home, again with the season only being 110 games. It's going to have some weird anomalies, and this 2-game series, I guess, would be one of those. So we have Dan Petry going today. Let's go ahead and get the game started. As always, I appreciate everyone following along. Like and subscribe if you enjoy this content. And, Petry is going to be on the mound today. Dan Schatzeder will not be available. He pitched a couple innings yesterday, giving up a run, but getting the victory in relief. And our lineup today will have Wayne Gross back in there. And we're going to give JT the day off. He's off to a bad start. He also got off to a bad start last year and finished really strong. So we're going to give him a break today. We're going to put Mark Wagner at short, and we're going to move Trammell to first base. He played 12 games at first base last year, so it's not abnormal for him to do that. And let's go ahead and go down the Yankees lineup here. And if you take a look defensively, all of the Tigers players will have a little card next to them representing the person playing that position. Something new we're going to try today to see how that works. So batting leadoff and playing second base is Willie Randolph. Batting second and at third base is Joe LaFave. Batting third and in right field is Claudell Washington. Batting cleanup and DHing is Dennis Worth. Batting fifth and catching is Ron Hasse. Batting sixth and in left field is Oscar Gamble. Batting seventh and playing first base is Chris Chambliss. Batting eighth and in center field is Rupert Jones. And batting ninth at shortstop is Brian Doyle. And since we've already given the background on Stefan Wever, we're going to do Dan Petry's background. He's making a second start for us this season. But Dan Petry, he was a 4th-round draft pick for the Tigers in 1976. Drafted out of high school in Placentia, California. He was a one-time All-Star in 1985. In 82, he finished 9th in the Cy Young voting. And in 1984, the year the Tigers won the World Series, he finished 5th in Cy Young voting. He made 2 starts in the 1984 World Series, going 0-1 with a 9 ERA. And Jeff Petry, he now is a studio analyst for Detroit for each of their baseball games. And his son, Jeff Petry, is a defenseman for the Montreal Canadiens. So a little background there on Dan Petry. And you can see the defensive alignment for Detroit with their cards representing the players next to them. First time we're trying that today. So we'll give you a look at that. And now we'll go ahead and get started with the game. Willie Randolph leading off against Dan Petry. 3 for 7 against Dan. And he pops it straight up on the third base side. Oh, and it's dropped by Parrish. So Parrish makes the error, and that is probably a bad omen. as Lefebvre steps in. And he hits a ground ball to second. They do get the lead runner. So one down. Here is Claudel Washington. Mentioned before, he was the NL MVP last year. And Washington hits a ground ball to Wagner at short, and they turn 2. So no damage done with the error by Parrish. We go to the bottom of the first, and here is the lineup for the Tigers today. We have Sweet Lou batting leadoff, playing second base. Batting second and at first base today is Alan Trammell. Batting third and in DHing today is Kirk Gibson. Batting cleanup and in left field is Steve Kemp. Batting fifth and catching is Lance Parrish. Batting sixth and in right field is Gary Hancock. Batting seventh and at third base is Wayne Gross. Batting eighth and at shortstop is Mark Wagner. And batting ninth in center field is Omar Marino. And pitching for the Yankees is Stefan Wever. He already made one start against Detroit, and he took the loss in that game. He went 9 innings. The game, I believe he actually started the 10th, which is when we came back to win that game. So he gave up 8 hits and 4 runs in that start, and hopefully we can have some success against him. He went 14-1 in 1980 in that simulation, so he's pretty strong starting pitcher. And you can see here the defensive lineup for the Yankees today. All right, so here we go. Here's Sweet Lou leading off the game. And Lou strikes out. Whitaker went 0 for 6 in yesterday's game. And I gave some thought to maybe giving him the day off today. And maybe I should have, as he strikes out to lead off the bottom of the first. Trammell hits a long fly ball to center field. And here's Gibson, the hero of yesterday's game. Had 4 hits and 3 RBIs. We move him up to the number 3 spot with Thompson getting the day off. And he pops up to Randolph at second. And we go to the top of the second. Score tied at 0. Dennis Worth leading off the inning. And Worth strikes out. So that is the first K for Petry. Next up is Ron Hasse. Hasse pops it straight up to Parrish. And he makes the play this time. That's 2 down. And that'll leave it up to Oscar Gamble, who's going to bloop it into left center field. Oh, it's going to be caught by Kemp. I thought for sure that was going to get down. And that'll be the 3rd out. So Petry off to a good start. Bottom of the second, Kemp leading off. He strikes out. 2 Ks for Wever. I've decided to call him Wever. I can see how it could be Wever, but I don't know. We're just going to call him Wever. I've never been able to figure out the proper pronunciation. As he strikes out Parrish, looking, and that's 2 down. Next up is Gary Hancock, and Hancock pops it up into foul territory on the first base side, and Chambliss makes the play. We go to the top of the 3rd, still tied at 0, and Chambliss will lead off the inning by flying out to Hancock in right field. Next up is Rupert Jones. Jones hits a ground ball to second, and Whitaker makes the play. That'll leave it up to Brian Doyle, a thorn in our side. And he hits a fly ball to left center field, and it's going to be caught by Marino for the 3rd out. So neither starter has given up a hit yet, as Wayne Gross, back in the lineup today after getting a day off. He flies out to right field. And that will bring up Mark Wagner, making his first start of the season. He batted .326 versus righties last year. So a pretty solid backup. He didn't even get 100 at-bats, but he gets the first hit of the day. So Wagner 1 for 2 this season now, as he did get a late inning pinch hit. And then Wever walks Marino. So first and second, only 1 out. And here's Whitaker, again, kind of in a little bit of a mini slump. And he gets a base hit to left field. Will Wagner score? Do we want to send him home, not with Oscar Gamble and his gold glove? We're going to say no. It's only 1 out. Base is loaded. And as long as Trammell doesn't hit a ground ball, let's see how this plays out. Oh, he takes a third strike looking. Oh, you got to take the bat off your shoulders. So that'll leave it up to Gibby, who does have a home run against Wever. He must have had one in that first start of the year against Detroit. And Gibby flies out to end the inning. So we cannot capitalize on the 2 hits and the walk. And we go to the top of the 4th. Back to the top of the lineup with Randolph. And Randolph hits it right back to Petry. And Petry guns him out at first. Next up is Joe Lefebvre. There we go. There's the first walk by Petry. If you remember right, Petry had twice as many walks as he had strikeouts in his first go-around last year. Oh, crap. He walks Washington, too. So I'm hoping that Petry, is turning the corner into being a consistent starter, as he does strike out Worth for the second out of the inning and his second strikeout of the game. So Ron Hasse here comes to the plate. He's going to pop it straight up, and it's going to be caught by Parrish for the third out. So no hits on the board for the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the 4th. Steve Kemp leading off the inning. He gets a base hit to right. So the Tigers leading off the inning with a base hit. We're going to say no. We're not going to try to stretch that into a double. We're going to let Parrish swing away. And he hits a ground ball to third. And that's an easy double play with those 2 slow base runners. So 2 down with Gary Hancock coming to the plate. And he flies out to left field. So nothing going on for the Tigers as Oscar Gamble steps in and he hits a ground ball to second. So 1 down. Next up is Chris Chambliss, who he walks. 3 walks for Petry now, only at 51 pitches. So despite the walks, he's been efficient. And he comes back and strikes out Rupert Jones for 2 outs. And here's that pest, Brian Doyle. And Doyle hits a fly ball to center field. And the Yankees have no hits through 5. Who would have thunk it? Okay, so Wayne Gross leading off the bottom of the 5th. He hits a fly ball to center field. Next up is Mark Wagner. Got the Tigers on the board with his first hit. And he strikes out. So 5 Ks for Wever. And it's going to leave it up to Omar Marino. And Marino hits a ground ball to second. We go to the top of the 6th. Still tied at 0. Willie Randolph leading off the inning. He hits a ground ball to Gross at third, and he's tossed out. There's 1 down. Next up, Joe Lefebvre. Lefebvre hits a ground ball to third. That's 2 down. And that'll bring up Claudell Washington. Oh, Washington walks. 4 walks now for Petry. Effectively wild, I guess you would call him at this point. Next up is Dennis Worth. Washington steals second base. So runner on second. 1-0 count now for Worth. We want to try to get the righty out. Oh, that'll do it. There goes the no-hitter. There goes the shutout. A 2-run shot by Dennis Worth. His second on the season. And that will bring up Ron Hasse, who hits a line drive right at Whitaker. And that'll do it. So, unfortunately, the Tigers lose the shutout and the no-hitter. Great job, really, by Petry. I mean, he did have 4 walks. I doubt he'll come back out for the 7th. As Whitaker flips it down the left field line, it does fall in. And, again, we're not going to be running on Oscar Gamble, but we will hit and run with Tram. It's 4 hits for Detroit. And Trammell hits a blooper into left center field, and it's going to be caught by the center fielder, Rupert Jones. I thought maybe that might fall in. So we're down 2 runs. We need a 2-run shot of our own. And Gibby's not going to be the one to do it as he pops it up in between the shortstop and third baseman. It's going to be caught by Lefebvre. So 2 down for Kemp. Kemp shoots it to left, and it's going to be caught for the 3rd out. So to the top of the 7th, and we've got a bunch of lefties coming up, so we're not going to send Petry back out there. We're going to bring in the lefty, George Capizzello. Shotzi is not available today. Cappy, 8 1/3 scoreless innings so far, and he's won 2 games in relief. And he has a save, so productive early part of the season. And Oscar Gamble gets a base hit to left. So that's not how you want to start off the 7th when you got a bunch of lefties lined up. Chambliss pops it up to Whitaker. There's 2 down. I'm sorry, that's 1 out. And Jones gets a base hit up the middle. Gamble holds at second base. So 1st and 2nd, 1 out. We're going to bring the outfield in against Doyle in case he tries to drop something in there. Oh, no. Hits it all the way to the wall. Both runs score. And I think I've been jinxing my pitchers because those 2 runs against Capizzello, I just said he hadn't given up a run, and then he's given up 3 now as Randolph gets a base hit, knocking in Doyle. Lefebvre hits a ground ball to second, and they turn 2 to get out of it. So this game has made a turn for the worse as it's 5-0 Yankees. Parrish hitting a fly ball to center field. That's 1 down. Next up, Gary Hancock, 1 for 10 against Wever. And Hancock hits a line drive to third. We're going to flip it over to the in-game stats. I forgot to do that earlier. So 2 down for Wayne Gross, who's done nothing for us since we traded for him in the offseason. It's been a disappointment. We go to the top of the 8th. 5-0. We're going to leave Cappy in there. We're down 5. We've got all these lefties coming up. And Washington popping up to Whitaker at second. 1 down. And here's Worth, who had the big blow to break up the no-hitter. And he strikes out looking. So 2 down for Ron Hasse, and Hasse's going to pop it up on the infield. And actually it's going to be caught in the outfield grass by Wagner. And Wagner's going to lead off the bottom of the 8th. I guess, just as far as player of the game goes so far, I think we need to give it to Petry. Although Whitaker does have 2 hits. Wagner strikes out. So 1 down for Marino. Marino pops it up to third. It's dropped by the third baseman. I did not see that coming. So Joe Lefebvre makes an error at third, and we got some speed on the base pass. Let's try the old hit and run. Marino's been caught stealing 3 times this year with no successful stolen bases. So he is definitely due, but I'm apprehensive to even try. And Trammell strikes out. Man, we go to the top of the ninth. And it's 5-0. We're going to take out Cappy, and we're going to bring in Pat Underwood. Bringing in another lefty. Underwood, I mean, he's done pretty good. Is he due to give up runs? Yeah, but he's been pretty solid. 8 innings pitched, 4 Ks. Opponent's batting 185. He does have a save. And he's going to face Oscar Gamble, who's 3 for 8 against Underwood. Gamble hits a ground ball to Gross. There's 1 down. Next up, Chris Chambliss. Ground ball to Wagner. 2 down. That'll bring up Rupert Jones, and Jones strikes out. 1-2-3 inning for Underwood. We go to the bottom of the ninth. 5-0, and Wever looking to get a complete game shutout as Gibby steps in. And Gibby hits a blooper to right field, and it's going to be caught by Washington. Next up is Steve Kemp. Kemp walks. Only the second walk for Wever as he's at 109 pitches. And, we have to let Parrish swing away. And he cuts it to right. It's going to... I thought it was going to fall in. Unfortunately, it's going to be caught by Washington. So we're down to our last out. Gary Hancock, our only hope. Hey, there's a basic to left. He did hit 321 versus righties. And Wever is now listed as tired at 120 pitches. I guess we have to let Gross swing away. He's been terrible. There's a chance for him to do something. But he lines out to left, and the Tigers get shut out at home by the Yankees. 5-0. That was a pathetic effort. Oh, no. And Milt Wilcox is injured for 9 days. He's had 2 terrible starts, so we're going to have to figure out who we're going to bring up. Probably Bruce Robbins, I guess, as the Mariners are making a trade offer. Well, that's an interesting one. Juan Benitez and Joe Simpson. Reason we would be saving money, but do we need more outfielders? We really don't. So I'm going to say no. We'll look at the standings real quick. We fall to 5-5. Yankees move to 5-5, and there's a tie for first in the division as Boston finally got their first loss. And California still holds a nice lead in the West. And the National League is still St. Louis and Cincy. Take a look at the transactions. Milt Wilcox out for 9 games. And we'll pull up the box score and we'll get out of here. Player of the game for Detroit. We're going to give it to Petry. He had a no-hitter going for 5 1/3 innings before he gave up the a walk and the 2-run shot. So Petry gets the player of the game. You see the year-to-date leaders over here. Nothing else to mention. Cappy gave up 3 runs in 2 innings. Underwood pitched a scoreless inning. Wever gets the win. He's 1-1. Petry's 0-2 now. And that'll do it. So we'll be back tomorrow with the second game of the short 2-game series at home. And until then, everyone, have a great night.